Hello, do you like big, bold clay earrings? Well, I hope you do because I have prepared a new tutorial for you and I want to inspire you to make such big, bold clay earrings. Hello again, I'm Mihaela from Learn Polymer Clay and I have prepared a new tutorial for you to inspire you to create more using polymer clay. So let's dive in. Here's my initial trial piece, but then I decided to change the colors a little bit, so the finished earrings are slightly different from this trial piece. I am going to use a mold. This is a bakeable mold from Create Along, and you can put it in the oven. I have properly conditioned some translucent polymer clay, and then I rolled some clay into a bowl, and then I've put the clay into the mold and used my fingers to spread it well. I'm also using the roller to roll the clay. Be very careful to remove any air bubbles if you notice such air bubbles, and then you'll just have to use a sharp rigid blade and remove the excess clay. You'll have to cut parallel to the mold, exactly on top of the mold, and of course you should be careful not to cut into the mold. And when using such beautiful shapes and such bakeable molds, you are sure that you will end up with beautiful components, and you don't have to smooth your pieces too much, and you don't have to sand them after baking. So I've prepared my earring components, and then I've used some clay passed through the setting number 2 of my Atlas pastel machine, meaning a medium size setting. And then I folded the clay in half to have a double layer, and I used a floral Create Along texture to create a beautiful pattern, and my roller, of course, to apply pressure and impress the beautiful floral pattern. And then I've baked the pieces for 40 minutes in the preheated oven, and I tinted my pieces with an aluminum disposable pan to protect them from direct heat. And I normally bake my pieces on top of parchment paper. Then I used the same floral texture sheet that I put through the pastel machine on the larger setting, along with a sheet of polymer clay that I've previously passed through the setting number 2. And then I've used some liquid clay to attach the textured translucent clay to the baked base. So anytime you want to put together baked clay and raw unbaked polymer clay, you'll have to use liquid clay as a bonding agent, as a glue. Initially I wanted to use this texture clay to cover the margins as well, but then I changed my mind, and in fact I am going to use this textured translucent clay to cover the front of the piece, and then I've just used my blade to remove the excess clay on the sides. You'll have to be very careful because this sheet of clay is going to move around a little bit because of the liquid clay. And of course you'll have to smooth off the edges of the layer of clay that you put on top. And then I'm going to use pan pastels, blue and purple, to color the clay. And I'm just using my fingers. Of course, you could use a brush if you prefer. And as you can see, the more pastel color you apply, the darker the color, the better definition you get for the floral pattern. You'll have to keep baby wipes near to clean your hands. I'm going to use purple pan pastel as well. And I will do the same thing. I'm going to use my fingers to apply purple on top of the blue in some areas. And I will finish by applying some unicorn red purple metallic create along powders. And I really like the resulting look of the piece with this touch of sparkle. And for the round shape that I cut from the double layer of clay that was textured, and in fact the textured part is on the back of the piece. So for this tiny round piece that I cut with a camper cutter, I've used the same color to color this piece. So I baked the pieces again for 30 minutes at the temperature recommended by the polymer clay manufacturer. I tinted them, and then I used a hand drilling tool to drill holes so that I would be able to put the earring design together. I intend to use some crystal drops to make these big bold clay earrings more interesting. But before assembling the earrings, I used some matte varnish to protect the pan pastels. And then I just used jump rings to attach earring findings. And I'm going to use some 22 gauge silver color wire to put the design together. So I'm going to use wire to attach the elements together, and also to make some seed bead loops around the crystal components. So I've made a loop using my round nose pliers. I've attached the round component, and then I looped the wire several times around the base. I cut the excess wire, and I use my pliers to tuck in the end of the wire. Then I added the crystal component, and I'm going to use again my round nose pliers to make a loop, and then attach the larger floral component. And again, I'm going to loop the wire around the base several times. And I am going to use small seed beads in a matching color, blue light seed beads. And I'm going to string 15 to 20 seed beads on the wire and then make a loop around the crystal component. And then loop the wire around the base of the earring. I will put the same number of beads on the wire and loop again on the other side, but before I decided to go through the round component to enhance the strength of the loops between the elements. And then I added the same number of beads, and again I looped the wire around the base. And I decided to go again through the larger component and make sure that my earring is going to be durable and it is strong and durable. And I'm going to finish by adding more beads onto the wire, a little bit more beads than the number of beads that I added for the other loops, because I want to make this loop a little bit larger. Decided to make only third such loops because I wanted to have an interesting design, so you could make another loop on the other side and you would have four and you would have a symmetry, but I didn't want a symmetrical design for these earrings. And of course you'll have to tuck in the end of the wire and make sure it's not hurting your fingers when you check if the end of the wire is okay. Thank you for watching the tutorial. I hope you like it, and I invite you to subscribe to my channel, to press the like button if you like this idea. I'm very happy to read your comments. And as always, stay tuned for more inspiration for work with clay.